buddy.
And I don't know if you ever been to Tampa, but Tampa is the kind of place where, first of all, it's a bunch of people that wanted to be pirates, I think, and then pirating went out of business.
Good morning, everybody. It is the 19th day of May. You've got Andrew and our wonderful co-host, Megan.
Good morning.
It's a rough start. It was a long weekend. We'll get into that in just a minute. And we're rolling in just a little bit late, but we'll still get this one out by 9 o'clock. Thank y'all for being with us. The morning show is meant to be a 20-minute-ish clip that we do for you guys every Monday through Thursday, out to you by 9 a.m. on all platforms. And it's just supposed to be a little snapshot of what's going on in the area and around the world, centric to Fort Worth. So, as you're dropping the kiddos off, on your way to work, whatever you got going on this morning, let's get straight into the weather. Today is going to be 82 degrees for a high, 46% chance of the rain, 65 for a low. Already passed that. Tuesday, 83 for a high, 60 for a low. Wednesday, 89 for a high, 67 for a low. Thursday, 86 for a high, 66 for a low. Friday, 87 and 73 for a low. And then this weekend, we're looking at 90s, 91 for a high, 74 for a low on Saturday. And then Sunday, kind of the same thing, 91 for a high, 69 for a low.
Megan, 69.
Very good. Glad you picked up on that. How you doing this morning, babe?
I'm good. Working on this first cup of coffee.
I didn't even set an alarm. We decided that we were going to do this one from the house this morning, and at some point Megan rolled over and she's like, "Did you set an alarm?"
Yeah, I woke up. I got hot. I had a hot flash. And I was like, "Oh, it's 7:30."
Dear God, what are you doing to us? All right. National Day of Learning at Work Week, National Safe Sun Week, National Vegetarian Week, whatever. We're in Texas, eat meat. National Volunteering Week. Actually, I was sitting down with the folks from Media for Texas this past weekend, and they're down in Austin. And I asked them if they ever come to Fort Worth, and they said, yeah, every once in a while. I said, well, I'd love to take you guys to dinner. And I paused, and then I looked at them, and I said, do you guys eat meat? And they were like, yeah, just because we're in Austin doesn't mean we're all vegetarian or vegan.
Hippies.
Yeah. So I suggested Lonesome Dove, of course. Told them that's my ringer. That's the place I always suggest when people are coming in from out of town. Oh, today is National Hepatitis Testing Day, Malcolm X Day, and then a bunch of other shit. So anyway, all right, let's move on. Ridiculous. Here we go. May 19th, this day in history, 1916, the secret Mid-East Treaty. 3 world powers carve up the Middle East with expectations of an Ottoman defeat at the hands of the Triple Entente. The Sykes-Picot Agreement maps out the territories that the United Kingdom, France, and Russia plan to control in the Middle East. The secret plan will be exposed, angering Arab leaders who were promised independent rule. So, you see, people have been meddling in the affairs of the Middle East for a very long time. 1935, Lawrence of Arabia dies. Do you know, that sounds familiar, right? Lawrence of Arabia?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that story?
Mm-mm.
So, having survived almost suicidal risk in the Arabian desert, fighting alongside Arabs, battling Turks and a capture and torture, and a plane crash in Egypt, ex-British Army officer T.E. Lawrence, 46, finds death among the quiet hedgerows of Doris, England, after crashing his motorcycle. Anyway, apparently Lawrence of Arabia was a British operative of some sort. The name sounded familiar, but I've never heard the story, so maybe Cody Halford from Abilene, Texas can look into that. So I don't have time for it. maybe he can do it. So just real quick, tell you guys about our weekend. Went down to Austin, sat down with media for Texas. We'll be releasing that episode hopefully today. I've got 3 episodes to release to you guys because I didn't get anything done this weekend. So yeah, went down to Austin, sat down with these folks that are trying to lobby for a bill called SB 22 in order to bring incentives to Texas, like Georgia, New Mexico, Louisiana, different states around us have incentives to bring Hollywood productions to their state. Texas doesn't have this. So they're lobbying to try to get these incentives in play so that folks will look at Texas seriously as a potential filming location. Anyway, so we went down, we did that, and then immediately went from Austin, Texas to Dilley, Texas.
Dilly.
And by the way, there's nothing in Dilley. You can't even get a margarita. So, 1 star, would not recommend as a travel destination. It's fine. The people are very nice. They have great tacos, but you can't get a margarita. Anyway, the reason we were down in Dilley is because we got invited down by Donovan Manufacturing to spend the weekend at the Ranch, Texas. You can look them up on Instagram, _ranch_Texas. And we got to do some boogaloo stuff. Night vision goggles and automatic machine guns and all sorts of fun stuff. So, what do you think about that?
That little boy's wet dream.
Well, I don't know if those 2 things are something you say in a polite sentence, but yeah, it was pretty great. And Cody Halford from Abilene, Texas, got to fire off a saw, a 249, for the first time, and that was fun. And myself, Dylan, and Chad, the owner of the ranch, were expecting a different reaction. Whenever he got done laying hate downrange, like 100 rounds or more, he ran out of the what was left in the drum on the saw. And so anyway, it goes click, and Dylan walks over and makes sure everything's safe and gets Cody up off the ground. And he goes, well, how was it? And Cody just goes, that was fun. We were all expecting something like, I don't know, something more than, yeah, it was fun. But
Okay.
it was a great time. It was Police Week down there, and we got a lot of really good content. You guys can find it on our social media accounts. A couple of little videos I put together for you guys just so you could see what we were doing. But it was a lot of fun. And I'm going to mess up his name, but Jonathan Coit, I think. Anyway, he's a Instagram model, I guess. And he came out just to shoot guns and take pictures and stuff like that. And he's actually a really nice guy. If you look at his Instagram, you're probably going to go, oh, that kind of guy. But he is a really awesome dude. We had a lot of fun with him and took some pictures. He gave me this $4,000 camera to take pictures and video and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
anyway, so I'm walking around with this $4,000 rig, and I got camera envy. But anyway, we had fun. Dilly. This day in history, 1963, MLK's letter printed. What does that mean? Excerpts from a landmark civil rights letter published. Jailed for civil disobedience in Birmingham, Alabama, Martin Luther King Jr. pens a letter outlining his nonviolent civil rights struggle. Parts of the forceful letter from Birmingham jail are published in the New York Post Sunday magazine and will inspire both debate and devotion to King's cause. Lost Island, 1992. Amy Fisher shoots Mary Jo, I'm not making this up, Buttafuoco.
Mm-hmm.
That is a weird name. Amy Fisher, age 17, shoots Mary Jo Buttafuoco. Fisher is allegedly having an affair with Mary Jo's husband, Joey Buttafuoco. Mary Jo is injured but survives the attack. Fisher will spend 7 years in prison, and the sensational story will become the subject of multiple TV movies. You know about this?
No.
Okay.
The name's familiar, though.
Yeah. Amy Fisher. Amy Elizabeth Fisher is an American woman who in 1992, at the age of 17, shot and severely wounded Mary Buttafuoco. All right, let's get into these Fort Worth news stories. Come on now, computer. Where are we at? First one up. As Texas population booms, classrooms are empty. What's happening? This is something that's been surprising to me because they're talking about low enrollment numbers, and I'm like, why would that be? What do you think the cause is, Megan?
People aren't having kids, and I think there's a greater push for a lot of families to homeschool anymore.
U.S. Census figures show that Texas ranks among the fastest growing states in the U.S. It grew by roughly 8 million people between 2000 and 2020. An estimate says it's grown by at least another 2 million since then. Fort Worth is a prime example of this, with a population that just reached 1 million, making it a boom that's happening across the country. But despite that, Texas school districts, including Fort Worth, are seeing enrollment drop. Districts that for years were considered fast-growing are being forced to accept a new reality and make difficult decisions to remain financially solvent. Experts say some of the enrollment decline is due to the COVID pandemic, but it's not the only factor. There's also the overall decline in the number of births in the U.S., something that could indicate an inflection point for Texas public schools, which receive the bulk of their funding based on average daily attendance. Plano is a case study. In a conversation with the Star-Telegram, a spokesperson from the Texas Education Agency pointed to the Plano School District as an example of something that agency is seeing statewide, a once-growing district that has seen its enrollment numbers fall. Okay, and that story is by the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Mr. Matthew Adams wrote this one. You guys can find it at startelegram.com. Moving on. Fort Worth City Council named Executive Assistant Chief Robert Aldridge as interim police chief. So they're still looking for a new police chief. I was told that our city manager, Mr. Jay Chapa, is the one that gets to pick him. But in the interim, we got Robert Aldridge, who, minus the mustache, looks a little bit like our current police chief. So, anyway, you think he got it because of the look? I mean, he's got the look.
I feel like you reach a certain point in police work and they all look the same.
Maybe they just, well, it's like, married couple, 50 years together, they just start looking like one another, right?
Like when you start looking like your dog.
Spend too much time in one place, you just start looking like the people around you. Okay. Fort Worth police warn of dangers of viral door kick challenge.
I've heard of this.
I bet you have. I don't know. When I read, it wasn't this story, but it's one covering the same problem. I commented, "Why do I just hear Bodies by Drowning Pool whenever I read this?"
Buddy.
Yeah, there's Buddy Calzada on NBCDFW.com talking about the door kicking problem. I tell you what, let's just tune into this. Let's listen to it. We can do that. It's news. Here we go. We're going to do it that way because Buddy's going to say it better than me. Where are we at? There we go.
I've seen it happening. NBC social media challenge sweeping the nation. It's putting kids in danger. Fort Worth police say they have seen it happening. NBC5's Vince Sims has the warning they are sending out to kids and parents.
It's called the Door Kick Challenge. Security cameras across the nation are catching kids doing it.
They're kicking the door and they're just running
There's
off.
Buddy.
And they're all laughing, and it can seem like it's just a harmful game, but this type of horseplay could get someone injured, and that's not what we're looking for.
This one happened in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. But Fort Worth police officer Buddy Calzada says in recent months, they've had at least 21 reports of this happening all around different parts of their city. He warns kids and parents what may seem like a harmless prank could end up very bad.
We're in Texas. People have every right to arm themselves. They have whatever they can do to keep somebody from coming into their house. And when somebody kicks on it, that may not be what they're wanting to do to break in, but it definitely gives a perception of that.
He's pleading with parents to warn their kids because parents could ultimately end up paying the price for any damage.
It is a crime. It starts with vandalism. If you do enter the house, There can be burglary charges that'll stack up. And remember, if these are juveniles that are doing this, the parents are going to be ultimately responsible for all the damage that they're doing and for any fines or anything they would have to pay.
In Fort Worth, Vince Sims, NBC5.
We don't usually play clips like that, but we saw Buddy and we both were like, hey, we know that guy. So,
What's happening?
No. We actually got invited out to the Colonial this weekend, so we might be out there doing some stuff with those golf nerds. Maybe. I don't know. You might see me out there running around with a microphone. It's possible. All right. So, listen, don't kick doors because that's a great way to die.
Yeah.
Okay. Tarrant County. So, go ahead.
Especially here in Texas.
Yeah, I don't know. That's such a bad idea.
Yeah.
Bailey, don't you lick that microphone. The dog is up in Megan's lap now. Tarrant County's top carbon monoxide particle matter producers in 2023. The article is, these companies ranked as Tarrant's biggest air polluters. Fed cuts could impact data collection. FortWorthReport.org. This story is by Nicole Lopez. And I just wanted to read off our dirty carbon monoxide contributors. Who do you think's at the top of the list? Go ahead, take a second. Who do you think is the biggest contributor of carbon monoxide in tons per year in Tarrant County? Who would you have thought it was? I know you're looking at the graph, but
I'd say probably just the city of Fort Worth, just with all the drivers and everyone with the emissions and
so you're talking just people driving around?
yeah, just
Okay.
commerce.
Well, that wasn't listed, but the city of Fort Worth landfill came in by a landslide margin, at 103 tons per year, and their particle matter 2.5 in tons per year. Right behind that was waste management. Obviously, landfill is a huge contributor. Constellation Energy came in third, General Motors fourth, Molson Coors fifth, ONIC, InLink Midstream, BKV Corporation, Texas Energy Midstream, and by the way, the next BKV Corporation and all the ones behind that are nothing compared to City of Fort Worth landfill. Texas Energy Midstream, and then City of Arlington landfill. Arlington is also, some of it is in Tarrant, is right?
All of it's in Tarrant
Okay.
County. Yeah.
I thought it was just like the western side of it. Bell Textron, Norion, Energy Transfer, and then at the very, very, very bottom with a teeny tiny sliver is Lockheed Martin. So, anyway, that's where all your pollution's coming from.
All your garbage.
Yeah, all your trash. I would have thought that these home builders or the people that are building apartments and things like that would have at least been on the particulate matter side of things, kicking all that damn dust up in the air. Okay, let's get into our good news story of the day. I like this one. Texas Roadhouse cooks dog's last meal. Owner is blown away by the restaurant's care. Stories by our buddy Andy Corbley over at thegoodnewsnetwork.org. From Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah.
Pennsylvania comes the story of a man who had to make the difficult decision to put down his dog, but who couldn't believe the send-off he received from the local Texas Roadhouse. Receiving a to-go order with the note, "Last meal for our dog," the staff made sure it came through with the tender care of a dinner prepared by family for family. I'm not crying, you're crying.
How is that good news?
Yeah, oh no.
Sad news.
It is sad. Months ago, Hunter, I'm not reading, look at who comes up with these names. Ephrata, Pennsylvania, is that right?
What is it?
Ephrata, Ephrata, Pennsylvania.
Never heard of it.
Well, discovered that his 120-pound, 8-year-old Great Dane Irish had cancer. None of the treatments worked, and it was decided that the dog would be euthanized. Following the great poet's words, however, Hunter was determined not to let his beloved pooch go gently into that good night. The day before end, family and friends arrived for a party in her honor. to feed Iris treats and shower her with affection. For dinner, Metzger got the idea to order a fat, juicy steak from Texas Roadhouse. He ordered an 8-ounce New York strip, no seasoning, steak fries, and mashed potatoes with butter, typing out in that special instruction field, last meal for dog. Please prepare with love. My to-go team actually saw the message, Kate Weston. The kitchen manager says, I was like, oh my God, we need to make sure that this is the best meal we've ever made. When the family came to retrieve it, the whole staff came out to offer condolences, blowing him away. The receipt apologized for his loss, signed by members of the to-go and kitchen staff, and the to-go container had the words "Made with Love" written in red marker.
Aww.
It just blew us away, the family said. She was just put down later that night. And the next morning, I happened to check my emails, and I saw they had also refunded the meal. It's very sad. Sad losing the dog.
Yeah.
It happens. Okay, space news. That was a good news story, but it made me sad, and I don't like it. Friday is full of advancing Dragon cargo stowage, advanced research, and maintenance of orbital systems. This is a real boring read from the NASA.gov website by Kelsey Nicole Howren. The Expedition 73 crew aboard the International Space Station continued work with the Dragon cargo, advanced space experiments, and maintenance of orbital systems. NASA's astronaut Anne McClain and Nicole Ayers, with the help of JAXA, Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, astronaut, and station commander Takuo Onishi, work continued building towards the undocking of the SpaceX Dragon spacecraft by stowing and transferring cargo inside the spacecraft. Do you think we actually have a space station? I'm not a flat earther, but I'm just concerned about whether or not we're actually in space.
I mean, Katy Perry went to space, so anything's possible.
Yeah, if Katy Perry can do it, anybody could do it. Okay. Right. Anyway, read on. They're basically just giving you an update of the boring stuff that's going on. It's not boring stuff, but whenever you read it like that, it's boring stuff. It's probably pretty cool up there. Down here, it doesn't sound like much, but you try it in zero gravity in the vacuum of space.
Get stuck up there.
That would not be good.
Nope.
Yeah, like those astronauts.
I know.
What was it, 8 months? Close to a year. Mm-hmm. Nuts. Okay. Well, folks, we want you to be part of the show. We want you to tell us about events that are coming up. We want you to tell us about news stories that you don't want us to miss. And just be part of what we got going on here. We're here to promote you. We're here to get the word out. We want to be a connecting fiber for the city, and that's the whole reason we do this. Every Monday through Thursday, episodes out by 9 o'clock, and cross platforms all over Fort Worth. In case you're wondering, we interact with 150,000 accounts right here in North Texas every single month. So, if you got anything to promote, I'm telling you, it's free. I'm here, and we can help you out. Send your audio recording to media@fortworthroots.com or get us on one of our social media pages and just send it in. They've got the little audio recording option there for Instagram and Facebook, and I think TikTok has it as well. So anyway, you got lots of options, folks. Just tell us what you got going on.
So many options.
Mm-hmm. Every once in a while, somebody will send me like an article, like, here, read that on your show, podcaster. And I politely message them back, and I'm like, look, if we're going to do this for free and I'm going to include it on the show, you're going to have to talk.
You read it.
Tell me what you got going on. But you're the talking guy. You do it. Oh,
talky. No more talky.
By the way, it has been magical having you here this morning. Thank you.
You want to know something magical?
Yeah, what you got?
Okay. The unicorn is the national animal of Scotland.
Huh.
Did you know that?
That says a lot, right?
Yeah. So it apparently is chosen because of its connection with dominance and chivalry, as well as purity and innocence in Celtic mythology.
None of that really matches up with what we saw the other night. We watched a documentary called Death of a Unicorn.
I liked it.
It was a great movie, but that unicorn was not chivalrous. It was out there kicking ass.
Because they were killing its baby.
Don't spoiler alert me.
Sorry. Spoiler alert.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. As you travel through outer space on the back of a giant sea turtle, we hope that you'll choose love and gratitude every chance you get. We got some episodes coming out this week, so there's going to be lots of content.
Make sure you check them out.
Make sure you check them out. Until tomorrow, folks, good day.
My great day in the morning. My great day in the morning. Cause she got that soul. And she give it to me. So she got
I hope you
that
woke up
soul.
today and somebody loved you. And you know who I really hope I hope it was yourself.